What's good, everybody? The long wait for the Update 3 patch notes is finally over, and they are here and in front of us. And in case you don't want to read them or you want to watch a breakdown of them, here they are. It's going to be a long one because there's a lot of patch notes, you guys. So get ready. Get your popcorn, get your drinks, get your blankets, your significant others, whatever. Here's the Update 3 patch notes for Dungeon Hunter Champions. Released Friday, October 12th, 2018. So here's all we need to know about the upcoming Update 3, you guys. King of Fighters event. So this is the new event that they talked about on stream yesterday, introducing the two new fighters, Mai Shirue and Kaio, who cares, because I'm not pronouncing that name. It's tough. It's from their King of Fighters franchise from Gameloft, I presume. Let's see. Join the Eternal Contest, unlock the champions, their dedicated gear. So we have champions, we have gear, and we have outfits for them. Apparently. Limited time event. Awesome. Okay, we'll see. The new Nat 5 champion, the Vampire. Holy cow. So that's 3 champions we know of so far. Switch between human and demon forms. So the first changing champion that changes between forms. That sounds awesome. A Halloween event. Getting the spirit of trick-or-treating with our harrowing. New tavern. Interesting. So that's what we saw in the event yesterday. Like, this is the new look for the tavern, the base of the game where you load into. Very cool. Event with special rewards. Exclusive new Halloween outfits are available only for the duration of the event. Don't be afraid to grab them while you can. Okay. Boop. 5v5 improvements, bug quality and quality of life, and champion balancing. Awesome. So we're gonna get right into it. The King of the Fighters event. Here's what we need to know about it. Mai and Kaio from the King of Fighters franchise enter the multiverse, face these infamous champions along with waves of enemies in a new dedicated game mode. Okay, so we're going to be fighting the new champions in like some kind of new mode. Prove your worth to unlock these new champions. Any engaged player will be able to win the Nat 4 Kaio and Nat 5 Mai champions. Okay, so any engaged player can get these champions. Awesome. I wonder what elements that is, or if it's all of them. In addition to new dedicated skill sets, these 2 champions feature a brand new gameplay system inspired by the King of Fighters. We saw that on stream yesterday. If you haven't seen the stream yet, you guys, go check it out on DHC Dungeon Hunter Champions YouTube channel. They posted it there. It's in the announcements on Discord, so you can rewatch that stream if you want. New gear sets based on champions can be earned. Equip these on any King of Fighters champions to boost their abilities. We saw those as well. A gear set that increases like the super abilities, and we'll get into it as we get into the champions. Collect King of Fighters points, summon crates for champions. Okay, so as we do this new mode that we compete against the champions with, we gain points that we use to open crates that we can get the champions from, the outfits from, and other unique ascending materials from. Okay, cool. So we play this mode, we get points, we open crates with the points, we get cool new stuff. Sounds reasonable. Sweet. Mai and Kaio will be available only in the King of Fighters event and will not join the global summoning pool. Interesting. Okay. But the King of Fighters event, it's going to last 3 weeks, you guys. 3 weeks at first, and then it's going to return every month. So it sounds like it's an ongoing thing. Like, even if you don't get the champion you want the first time around, like, it's going to keep coming back month and month, keep us playing. Okay, cool. That's kind of a cool idea. I mean, we'll see how it works. It's interesting. But if you don't get it the first time around, you will have other opportunities to continue to grind for it later on. So don't fret. The Vampire and Halloween event, October 24th through November 8th. Okay, so this one is October 18th through November 8th. So they're going to be... Okay, they're going to be overlapping. Cool. Yep, so the first 2 bullet points are nothing special. Vampire features a unique skill set that allows him to switch between human and beast form. Okay, very cool. So he's going to have different skill sets, kind of similar to other champions from other games, maybe, where they can switch back and forth between forms and get different skills on their different forms. Cool. First Shapeshifter champion. Yep, very cool. Will be available as a new champion in the Ritual Summon. Okay, so we're getting a 3rd Ritual. Cool. When Halloween event starts, and will stay available after the event. Sweet. So the Ritual will always be there. For the Fire Vampire, awesome. Other versions of Vampire will be available limited time boosted summon. Okay, and we'll join the global pool of champions when we release the next champion approximately in a month later. Okay, so basically what they do with all the other champions, a gacha and then release it a month later. So, and then one fusion though. So very cool. So we can all get a Fire Vampire. Awesome. And costumes for the Snake Lady and the Valkyrie. New outfits for Snake Lady and Valkyrie. Awesome. Okay. Those are going to be cool. Many other rewards will be available. Awesome. Awesome. And then let's see. What do we have for the menu updates on the in Update 3? Players can now expand the inventory. We saw this on stream yesterday through the shop and the guild tab. So 50 gems for 10 spots from the shop. And you can do that 15 times for a total of 150 extra spots. And then you can spend guild points to get another 50 spots for a total of 200. So I did the math on this last night, guys. It's 750 gems for 150 inventory spots, and then your guild points for the last 50. So if you want extra champion spots in your inventory, 750 gems total for all of the available ones, or you can spend as much as you want, 50 per 10 spots. Players can now quickly switch champions in adventure mode with the new switch champions buttons in the results screen. Cool. That's a nice little quality of life update. Option to auto skip intro, outro cutscenes. And it can be found in the settings menu, guys. Oh my god, that's huge. We've been asking for that since day one. That's going to cut so much time out of farming. Like over time as you continue to grind and grind and grind and grind and grind. That is massive. This update is huge just for that alone. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. That's my favorite thing I've heard so far. Added a new code system for account linking between devices, Windows, iOS, Android in the settings menu. Okay. We'll have to see what that looks like, but that sounds interesting and unique. Like that might help with moving accounts between devices. We'll find out. Currencies for special events should be counted as a currency reward rather than an item reward, so players can still sell gear. Okay. Okay, so they're going to make it so that as we get like a currency reward, like we did with like the Dragon Bones events, we can still sell the piece of gear we got with it though. So that's awesome. Fully revamp the transaction system for better reconnection after interrupt. Okay. I.e. like a phone call. All right. So stability. Fix a bug that causes players to have rollbacks. Okay. Fix a bug that causes the mission system to display a quest for using a friend's champion when a user is playing in a region where social features are disabled due to their age. So that's not something I've ever ran into, but all right. So more fixes, just lots of fixes though. Good to see. Fix an issue with invisible avatars on the podiums in the social hub. Nice little quality of life so we don't have to look at a blank podium. Fix an issue with wrong scrolling behavior in chat or champion inventory. Okay, so I think that's the issue, like where after you like train or promote things and you try and like scroll back up, it won't let you, it keeps scrolling down, so they fixed that. Cool, cool. And we got some chat updates and arena updates. I'm looking forward to reading those arena ones. Added looking for group. We saw that. Very cool. Added timestamps, chat messages. All right. So you can see how far back they are. Can inspect any player's profile by tapping on their portrait in the chat window. Doing this from inside Fives or co-op lobby will reveal a group invite button. Group invite button and inspect. Okay. Can be used to invite players from general chat. Very nice. You can invite anyone from general chat now. You don't have to just invite people on like your friends list or your guild list. Very cool. Chat window should no longer break. When the sequence of boss rating, like when you beat the boss, the chat window will stay up. Chat window can now remain open while on rewards screen at the end of adventure. That's what we just talked about. What is this other one? Chat window should no longer break if it's open during a rewards sequence of a battle. Okay, yeah. So those kind of sound like the same thing to me. I might be misunderstanding that, but some chat window fixes too, guys. Very cool. And now we get into the big one, my excitement, arena, because you guys all know this is where I like to play. Removed a recent server-side change that prevented players from attacking the same player in the arena repeatedly. The player would not appear in the list until they had attacked 5 other players. Originally, this was intended to prevent collusion and other similar exploits, but it also inadvertently prevented top players from fighting each other for rank. Thank you, Gameloft, for reverting this. So when I found out about this a while ago, guys, and when I did, I was not happy because it essentially, it doesn't do a whole lot for like the mid-tier arena, but when people are competing for rank 1 in those top like couple spots and you can only hit rank 1 every 6 hits, it makes it kind of hard to pass them. if they're actively hitting people and playing too. So this is a big change that needed to happen, in my opinion. I'm so happy this happened. I had a lot of discussions about this one with a lot of people, including some devs. I'm so happy to see this change. I'm glad that's at the top too. Awesome, awesome, awesome. It'll make Arena more competitive. There's still things that need to happen to make Arena, like a lot of Arena changes that need to happen, but this is a big one. This needed to happen. Happy about that. Thank you. Defeating all opponents on the attack list will now reward you with 2 PvP energy. Cool. All right. So a little something something for going through the whole list if you add incentive to hit everyone and not just selective people like the first bullet point I talked about. Cool. Players receive 2 energy, but no pop-up telling them why. Also, the 2 energy is incorrectly displayed as PvE energy and results on the arena. So maybe they're fixing that with this is what they're talking about. Okay. Intro cinematic will now be skipped if auto skip is activated. Cool. With that new auto skip feature we get in settings. Leaderboards can now be reviewed during maintenance time after each season. Rather than waiting, you receive rewards for an unknown final position. Cool. So right away we can see them. Awesome. Season rewards received in the middle will now show a player's final rank. So if you guys aren't sure where you're at, like if that leaderboard doesn't update for some reason or isn't available right away, we can see where the mail will send us our rank. Very cool. So it's like, hey, you get this reward for this season. It's going to say you get this reward for this ranking 12th in this season or 212th in this season, you know? So it's less surprising if rewards change after recalculating the results of the last 15 minutes. Cool, cool. That's awesome. And easier to provide a support ticket. Excellent. Fix an issue where you cause players' client to fail to post their opponent's new arena score after the match. Some players are taking advantage of to stay at the top of the leaderboard. Cause players' client to fail to post their new arena score after a match. I don't think that's the bug where people could log out and then their thing stayed, because that got fixed a while ago. So I'm not sure exactly what some players were taking advantage. I don't know how you take advantage of like a random issue like that. But okay, it's another fix to Arena. Fixed double revenge bug where players could use their revenge twice against an enemy they attacked twice but only beat them once. Excellent. I've already noticed that has been fixed. So that's already, this one's already fixed, guys. So that's awesome. Fixed an issue, at least from my understanding it is. No, it definitely is, because yeah, it is. It's fixed. Fixed an issue where sometimes the enemy's defense team is different from the one displayed. Okay, so guys, this is when people will change their defense and you load in, and you when you attack, you're like, oh, they have 2 magical girls, an archangel, and a greater demon, and then you load in, and then there's like 4 magical girls. Like, what? Because they updated that. Like, realistically, no one's done that exact defense change, right? But maybe they have. It means that as soon as someone changes their defense, it's going to be updated so that when you click on their name to attack them, you will see the updated defense and not the old one. Awesome. Fix an issue where the opponent's score would not be displayed correctly at the results screen after successful arena attack. Okay, so I ran into that a few times where you hit someone and it goes +10, but your score stays the same. It's completely visual, but they fixed it so it won't show that. It will always make the change now. Awesome. Fix an issue that cause players to be unable to revenge more than once against an opponent who successfully attacked them more than once. Okay, cool. Fix an issue where the opponent's score would sometimes be displayed with double the reduction. I personally never ran into that, but it's an excellent fix if it's happening. The issue was purely visual, though. Okay, but they fixed it so it won't occur anymore and won't scare or freak people out when it does happen. Where the close for maintenance message appears before the posted end time of season. I've never had that either, but if people have been having it, that's an excellent fix. Definitely needed. Great. Issue where 3D AoE attacks would pass through enemies without dealing any damage. Known as an arena invisible wall. So things like the Valkyries, you guys I know, their tornadoes will sometimes like go through things without doing any damage. Arena invisible wall. That's been fixed in this update. Excellent. So those of you Valkyrie users in the arena don't have to fret about that anymore. Fix an issue where the arena leaderboard is showing wrong player avatar occasionally. All right, little QOL there. Cool. those are awesome arena changes, guys. I'm really happy with those. I think there's still things that need to be done to tweak and tune and balance arena, so it's not such an AO game and more of an AD game. But this is good stuff for this update. So I don't play much 5v5s, guys. So I'm going to go through these a little bit quicker. So for those of you that are interested in 5v5s, there'll be a link to the patch notes at the bottom of the video if you haven't found it yet already to review these. But let's just take a quick look at the 5v5 stuff. New jungle buffs added, orange buff, purple buff for attack reduction or attack increase and cooldown reduction. Both buffs share multiple properties. They last 60 seconds. Champion carrying a buff will transfer the buff to any champion that kills them. Remaining duration of the buff is also transferred. Grabbing the same buff while carrying it will refresh the cooldown. Okay. So if you ever played League of Legends, it's kind of like the jungle buffs from there, but tweaked a little. Skill 3 is now locked until the players hit level 4. So you don't have your ultimates right away. Again, they talked about a lot of these 5v5 buffs on the live stream yesterday from the devs at their Dungeon Hunter Champions YouTube page. You can see that if you haven't already, guys. That might be a good source to watch as well if you're interested in hearing more about these. But you can't get your ultimate, your level 4 skill, or your third skill until you hit level 4 now. So it's less of a rush. MVP system is now in place. It'll show the top players at the end of the game. Very cool. Here's all the information about how you get the MVP or how it's calculated. Minimap players can now ping the minimap while dead. There's a ping visual upgrade. There's a bug fix for ping displaying the wrong icon on a building fixed. Okay. Issue only occurred for players on Team 2. Well, that's been fixed. All right. And ping limitation added to prevent players from using it too many times in a short amount of time. That's good because you know people are going to do that. Because people on the internet, there's trolls everywhere, guys. So that's good that they added a limit. Thinking ahead. I like that. Revamped the trophy system in general. Earning trophies should be a bit faster at lower ranks, so mid-tier rewards are more in reach for active players. Awesome. Bots are now treated as having a much higher trophy rating, so players below 1,400 trophies should no longer be punished for fighting teams with a few or no human players. Excellent. Games that finish with disconnected players are now treated as a loss for those players regardless of the outcome. Excellent. So people that like rage quit because they're going to lose, they're going to get a loss. So they'll quit doing that, hopefully. So that's cool. That's good. Makes it easier to climb up, because the thing about 5v5 is once you're down low, like, it's just so hard to climb up. You have to do it every week to stay up. Like, it's a lot of work. But I like that trophy change. That's cool. Looking for group chat now available in the lobby. Lobby chat display now defaults to looking for group. Okay. When a group of one or more than one player, chat defaults to the group's lobby chat. Okay. Season rewards now show the player's final ranks, just like the arena. Excellent. So I got to decide if I'm going to sell that bracer or not. I'm going to sell it. Opponents are now hidden in 5v5 until reaching the start of the game. So you can't dodge. You can't just keep, like, I mean, maybe you can, but you aren't going to know who you're up against. So there's less, like, you don't need to dodge. Yeah, to discourage Q dodging. Excellent. It was already made. It's already in the game, guys. Take a look at it right now if you want. Several stability improvements and crash fixes. Tower collision size reduced. General targeting revamp. Jungle monsters. So quick casting. So the general targeting revamp. Quick casting skills will now prefer champions within range over true. Okay, cool. And jungle monsters targeting issues. While not in combat, a jungle monster can no longer be targeted through a wall with a basic attack. Player must have a direct line of sight with a basic attack or be able to target him. This rule does not apply if the monster has been engaged in combat. So it means you can't just start attacking a champion, like a jungle camp, over the wall from the lane and just kill it. Like the Nature Fairy, for example, does that all the time to farm. You have to hit it with something else, and then once you're on the other side of the wall, once it's already been engaged, then you can attack it through the wall. Cool. That's what it sounds like to me. Experience gain is reduced, so that tells me they're trying to slow down the game mode a little bit. Regular jungle monster reduction, 10% minus 10% experience. Okay. Jungle buff monsters, Trident Lizard and Element, minus 18% experience. Imp attack range is reduced by 50%. Leech range of the jungle monsters increased from 8 to 10. Both jungle buff monster death timers increased from 60 seconds to 90 seconds. Okay, so the monsters in the jungle that give you the buffs are going to respawn slower, and everything else is going to give a little bit less experience. So you can't just go into the jungle and farm up, get a huge level advantage, and then take over the game. So they're trying to slow down the game pace and make it more even. I like that. That's cool. Slain message upgraded. Minor visual modification for elemental jungle comp. Fixes to the group invite system. A whole lot of fixes to that. Cool. Fix an issue that caused lag and rubber banding. Fix an issue where the trophy display in the lobby doesn't match the trophy amount in the rank. Or trophy amount in the leaderboard. Fix an issue where players would have a league icon that doesn't match their actual rank. So a lot of visual things here. Fix an issue where the AI kept running towards the wall instead of moving in lane or the jungle. Okay. Fix an issue where the arena and 5v5 trophies would show up blank in player profile pop-ups. Cool. A lot of visual fixes there. So 5v5 champion balancing now, you guys. Outside of the game, but the champion AI bug fixes for the AI. Let's see. Bots in certain situations were not able to see an enemy champion on the other side of a wall. Okay. Defense gain per level increased by 100% for all tanks. Cool. So tanks are going to get a lot stronger, harder to kill in 5v5. The fairy. I know a lot of you guys are interested in this. Everyone's saying fairy needs a nerf. Fairy needs a nerf. Crit rate gain per level reduced from 4% to 2%. At level 15, critical rate is now 43 instead of 71. Max health gain reduced from 400 to 275. Tricky Wink skill 2 damage reduced by 20%. Arcane Nova skill 3 is now dealing less damage per sphere. Scaling of the damage has changed in order to make her weaker early game. So at level 4, each sphere damage reduced by 12%. At level 15, each sphere damage reduced by 10% total. Okay. So the fairy got a big nerf in 5v5. She's not going to be all powerful DPS-wise now. So for those of you saying fairy needs a nerf, there it is. That sounds like a lot of damage reduction. And a lot of health reduction. Just nerfs in every way. Easier to kill and does less damage. Harder to kill other people. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Astromancer fixed a bug where Galactic Ray Skill 3 VFX sometimes didn't appear. Since the visual effects didn't appear for it, that's fixed. And Bomber fixed a bug where Dynamite wasn't using the right damage equation. It effectively enhances the damage of the skill by 80%. So they fixed an issue where the Bomber was stronger than he should be. He's going to be weaker now. Diva, alright, max health reduced by 20%, and Sonic Pulse skill 3 damage reduced by 60%. So they reduced the damage of it, so it's purely going to be just like a stun, but it's still going to be super strong. She's going to do a little less healing with that max health reduction though as well, guys, but I'm sure she'll still be strong. Derbygill, empowered, skill 1 basic attack damage reduced, her skill 2 damage. So Derby Girl damage reductions. She's super strong. I know some people have been saying she fell out of the meta for 5v5, but I know she's still a strong champion. So a little tweaking on her to try and balance it out. Pirate changes. All aboard skill now passes through walls. That's a cool, unique technique. Interested to see how that gets used. Siege Tower bug fix. There's a bug with the Siege Tower. Skill 2 will sometimes teleport instead of dashing. Well, I play the Siege Tower whenever I play 5v5, and I've never teleported, but if it's happening, I'm glad it's fixed. Tiki Warrior bug fix, voiceover lines on global. Okay, so voice fix for the Tiki. Spirit Guardian boss changes, you guys. Increments starts when he spawns at the 5-minute mark. Instead of at the 5-minute mark, instead of starting when the game starts. Okay. It means that the Spirit Guardian spawns at level 1 instead of spawning at level 5. Cool. Starting health increased by 21%. Max health gain per level increased by 108%. Attack gain per level by 100%. Deal extra damage to troops. So they made the Spirit Guardian boss a lot stronger. But he starts at level 1 instead of level 5. But he scales higher. Tower and core damage reduction removed on all buildings, replaced by an increase in the max health equivalent amount of the damage reduction previously used. This change doesn't affect the gameplay since the towers are hard to destroy as hard to destroy as they previously were. All right, so supposedly a change that's not going to affect anything. All right, anyways, moving on. All towers now have 25 defense. Towers that are a part of tier 2 and 3 benefit from additional 20% max health, harder to kill. Core base damage increased by 50%. And core base max health increased by 140%. So they're trying to elongate 5v5 games, guys. They want them to take longer, which I don't know, for like a MOBA like this is a great idea, considering, like, I mean, that's part of the reason some people play it is because they're quick games. But they're trying to really tune it and fine tweak it and balance it, which I do like. We'll see how long the games go now and how people react to that, though. Co-op raid boss changes. All right, this is a big one for me too, along with the arena. Fixed a bug that prevented players from completing achievements for beating each difficulty of the co-op boss. So now we can get the achievements for beating Legend or Nightmare if you haven't yet. Awesome. It's a good fix. Added several visual cues to encourage players to use their revive skill on dead allies. Awesome. Looking for group chat now available. Lobby chat display now defaults to looking for group until players has at least one group member. When a group of more than one players, chat defaults back. Same thing with 5v5. Music states are now properly used. Okay, I play without music off. I know a lot of you do, but that's neat for the people that do. Sound cue for different event are now triggered properly. Level intro changed. Players loading faster will no longer be looking at the Boon statue, Boon Sister Shrine, and will now be looking at the Boon Sister Shrine instead of an empty level. Cool. Okay, just visual stuff. And fixed a bug where the gear was equipped or upgraded in a short window of time after entering co-op. It would not be applied correctly. Well, that's something huge I would have loved to know was occurring. Because we do a lot of gear changing between runs, and if it wasn't actually being applied, like, that could be a big issue and a lot of losses. So that's a huge fix. Good to know. Skip button removed from intro cinematic. Good. Okay, cool. Champions, you guys. This is what everyone's looking for. This is the meat. Let's check it out. Many champions had bonus damage that was ignoring elemental relationships, skill ups, defense, and couldn't crit. We wanted bonus damage to follow similar rules to other types of damage, so several champions have been adjusted for consistency. See details below for more information. I would love to see the details below for more information, you guys. So several 4 and 5-star champions were underused in the late game play. To address this, we buffed several of these champions and given them unique effects, fixed AI bugs where a champion would not activate long-range abilities when immobilized. Excellent. So immobilized isn't a stun, you guys. It just prevents them from moving. But if they still have an ability and range to hit, they should be using it, but they weren't, and now they will. Awesome. The Bomber will now be joining Pirate and Magical Girl in the standard pool of champions available through summoning. I would love to summon a Pirate, you guys. You leave the Bombers out. Just, for some reason, no one summons Pirates. Like, it's like they're not in there, but I don't know. No one's gotten a straight answer. I would love to summon Pirates. Please, for the love of God, let Pirates be in the summoning pool. Added a new advanced skill description for several champions. Awesome. Added a new legendary debuff, Shred Defense, which lowers enemy defense by 5% and stacks up to 5 times. So this, if you guys saw the stream yesterday, it's going to be on the Fire Siege Tower. Uncleansable defense break, up to 25% defense that stacks with a normal defense break of 70%, giving you a 95% defense break ultimately. And 25 of that can't be cleansed. That's nutty. The effect stacks with Blighted and lowered. Oh, it stacks with Blighted too. So you could get like negative. I don't even know how much damage that would do. That's insane. Debuff is currently only found on the Siege Towers. Yep. Boon Sisters, they added text explaining the Wave of Celerity's cooldown cannot be reduced by skills. That was already in the game. They just added a text for it so everyone can read it now. And top community bug. Fixed a bug where the waterfall skill didn't apply to the lower defense on boss / like static characters. So if the Fire Boon Sister that has the waterfall that knocks people up and then defense break on landing, things like bosses that aren't knocked up never get defense broken by that because they never like land. Because they're never up. They fixed it so it still does defense break to those champions. And that's awesome. Bomber, transphasic bomb for the light and fire bomber. Skill description updated to include the fact that it removes all buffs from affected enemies. It already had this effect, but it was missing from the skill description. So that's huge. That's huge. These guys strip too. They don't just do tons of damage, but they also strip. These are usable champions in Steel Widow now. They weren't before because everything else out-damaged them, but the fact that they actually strip, that we didn't know it, is huge. These could be usable, you guys. Let's test them out. Dynamite for the fire and the light as well. I don't know why they have light/fire and then fire/light. Seems silly, but typographic things, who cares? Fix bug where this skill wasn't using the right damage equation and effectively enhanced the damage of the skill by 300%. So will it get enhanced now because it wasn't using the right one, or was it be enhanced and now it won't be? That could be worded better, but okay. Bomber fix. No one uses the bombers. We might now though. Strips. Archangel Aegis for the nature, fire, and light archangels. Shield amount will now be based on the archangel's max health instead of affected allies' max HP. This is a huge buff because a 5-star who skills on max HP, the archangel almost always has more HP than his targets. Yeah, so the archangels are big HP tanks anyways. So this is a huge buff to him. It looks like it's the only buff to the archangels though, guys, and unfortunately that tells me that the nature archangel is going to remain in the position he is in right now, which is unusable basically, because like, yes, he has immunity on his 3rd skill. It's a solo immunity, so he can keep immunity up, but it's such a long cooldown that it does not a whole lot for him in terms of anything really. An occasional blocked stun or something in Elder Drake or Arena, like whatever. He's going to keep casting the shield, but we have a ritual summonable light archangel that has the same shield, also has an attack break, also has a silence. People are going to ritual summon the light archangel and use him over the nature every day. As far as I'm concerned, I have both. I'm never going to use that nature archangel. But regardless, it's an awesome buff for the archangels. The fire and the light archangel just got way better, and they should have the best shields in the game as Nat 5 shielders, and now they will. I love it. Very cool. And this is something I'm really excited, guys. You know, I just summoned that Fire Ink Ninja a couple weeks ago, and I've been waiting for an excuse to build it. Well, I built him, and I'm ready for him to be better. Let's see what these increases are. So Brushstroke of all elements, increased damage by 20% and now ignores 25% defense. This bonus also applies to the bonus damage on marked targets. Okay, so stronger basic attacks that also ignore 25% defense. That's cool. I'm going to sell that pendant and move on. Tongue Lash for water and Tongue Smack for fire and light will now ignore. So extra defense ignoring, 25% ignore defense. And then Ink Spirit Calling for light, water, and nature. Reduce the delay between the end of the cast animation. End of the cast animation and the frog popping out of the ground by 50%. So it casts 50% quicker. That frog is going to be popping a lot faster. That was a big issue with the inks, is the delay on their skills. It sounds like they reduced that a lot by 50%. Damage on unmarked targets has been increased to 180%. Added 35% ignore defense on both marked and unmarked targets, and critical damage bonus increased to 30% on marked targets in addition to automatic crit. Oh my goodness. Drawn to life for the dark and the fire. So this is the same skill, the 3rd skill, that the light, nature, and water, but the fire and dark one that's a little different. Reduce the delay by 50%. Again, damage on unmarked targets increased by 180%. Added 35% defense on unmarked target and 65% defense on marked target. Defense ignore, I assume that means. Wow. So I think the Ink Ninja's got a whole lot stronger, you guys. It'll be interesting to see how they compare with other DPS units like Fairies and Blade Masters, but I think they got a whole lot stronger. Holy cow. Get your Ink Ninjas ready, boys and girls. Jeez. And then the Siege Tower does the shred defense, 5 stacks on its ult, 5% each stack, up to 25%. We talked about that already. Magical Girl Ribbon Whip for the nature and the water, and Ribbon Lash for the dark and the light. Replaced last skill up level with 10% cooldown, so it can do Ribbon Whip more often. Okay. I'm not sure what the last skill up was, but probably just damage, but now it's cooldown. That's an interesting change for Magical Girls that are already super strong. And then another underused champion, guys. Holy cow, we got a lot of changes here on the Monkey King. Let's check them out. God, I'm still so excited for Ink Ninjas. I only have one, but I'm excited. Monkey King. In general, this champion was underperforming for a 5-star champion. We've given him buffs across the board. In addition, he will now have access to Legendary Silence to give him a unique toolkit to reinforce his role in picking out and isolating individual enemies. Okay, so Nimbus Strike on all elements. Increase the damage by 40% for both normal and empowered version. Overhead flip for fire in the light. Reduced cooldown from 8 to 6 seconds so it can be cast more often. And added 1 skill level that gives 10% damage. Okay, so an extra skill up for the Nat5's champion. Okay, so an extra skill up needed, but extra 10% damage. Overhead toss for the dark nature and water. Reduce cooldown. So the fire and the light just have reduced cooldown and more damage. But the dark, the nature, and the water have a reduced cooldown. Now inflict legendary silence. Wow, okay. And change skill, and then they change skill 3 bonus to give 0.5 duration to its debuff on the, okay, so a longer lasting legendary silence, and change skill 4 to 15% damage bonus instead of 10. So more damage, longer lasting duration, and legendary silence with a lower cooldown. So the dark, the nature, and the water we might have a reason to use them, guys. Added 1 skill that gives +1 seconds to his debuff. Oh my goodness, that legendary silence debuff is going to last a long time, like 2.5 seconds or something like that now. That's going to be brutal. That's going to be a good arena champions, you guys. It could be. Monkey tricks, fire, nature, and light. An acrobatic feint, dark and water. So I think this is the 3rd skill, maybe the 2nd. For each of the Monkey Kings, reduce the cooldown from 12 to, so the 2nd skill, reduce the cooldown from 12 to 9 seconds and increase the damage a bit by 20%. And then tag team for the dark, fire, and nature, and mischievous clones for water and light. They reduce the cooldown of the ults from 36 to 30 seconds. So they can be used probably twice, maybe 3 times in the arena, depending on how much cooldown you bring with them. Okay. So just cooldown reduction for those guys, for their ults, cooldown and a little damage for the 2nd, and then really their flip skill on the dark, the nature, and the water. Overhead toss. That's the big change with these Monkey Kings, you guys. The legendary silence debuff is going to do more damage and last a long time. Damn. The Nagas they mentioned on stream are getting a cooldown reduction with their shield or their regen. So you can see here the bubble shield for the water, nature, and the dark, and rejuvenating stream for the fire and the light. All lower cooldowns on himself and ally, with greater amounts for longer cooldown skills. So the more you skill it up, the more cooldown reduction it's going to have. Oh, sorry, I misread that. 4 different skills. Okay. So it's the equivalent to the Light Boon Sisters Wave of Celerity CDR. So it's going to reduce other champions in itself's skill 1 by 0.5 second. It's going to reduce their skill 2 by 1 second. And ultimates skill 3s by 1.5 seconds. So that's a cool little tweak to the Naga. See how they get used now. Dino Kid, Blowgun, and Chomp for all elements. Ranged attack damage increased by 25% and now ignores 25% of targets. A lot of ignored targets defense in this update, you guys. Melee attacks will now restore HP equal to 25% of the damage. Okay, so ranged attack increase and then life stealing on melee attacks. Cool. Headbutt for all elements ignores 25% of target's defense. A lot of ignored defense. Holy cow. Paralysis Dart for the dark and the nature, Tranquilizer Dart for the light and the water, and Toxic Dart for the fire now ignores 25% target's defense. So they just want to give them a whole lot more damage, and the lifesteal for a little bit more utility, survivability, okay. And then Ferocious Roar and Get 'em damage will totally be based on attack instead of a mixture of attack and HP. Great. So you could probably just scale these guys full attack now, lifesteal, and do tons of damage. Holy cow. Dino Kids might be good, yes. Dino Kids might be usable. And Timekeeper, Echo Blade for light, Casual Reverse for dark and fire, and Time Inversion for nature and water, reduced healing by 60 seconds. So they made one change to the Timekeepers, the jack of all trades, and it was to reduce their healing. Let's see what they thought about, like why they did this. We wanted the Timekeeper's utility to be primarily based on his cooldown reduction, basic skill, and on his debuffs he contributes to the fight. We found that his healing output didn't make sense for a champion that already contributes so much in other places, which made certain elements masters of all trades, i.e. the water and the dark, guys. Because the Timekeeper is consistently one of the most used support mages in all game modes, we want to find a way of making his utility more tailored to his strengths rather than making him just good at everything. So they reduce the healing. I think if that's what they're trying to accomplish with the Timekeeper, they need to do more than reduce his healing. But it's a good start. And I'm a fan of buffs over nerfs, guys, honestly, if you're going to balance games. But if you champions are too strong, like Timekeepers are jack of all trades, one thing at a time. Don't mass nerf something and reduce just everything on it into the ground and then get a bad reaction. Do one little thing at a time, and I think this is a good start and a step towards the right direction in balancing the Timekeepers so they're not OP. Or just, like, because they're not even OP. They're just usable freaking everywhere. Especially the water and the dark. And this is a good step in the right direction of making them a little more balanced. Dragon Guard, following the buff in the previous update, Dragon Guard became a staple of top-tier arena defense. Yep. Metagame. So what did they do to change that? Guardian Impact, Fire, reduced damage by 25%. Megaton Stomp, Dark Fire and Nature, reduced damage by 25%. And then they fixed Mighty Swing and Bruising Swing that had a portion of the damage that was ignoring defense, bypass elemental relationships, and couldn't crit. Okay, so ultimately, they lowered his damage just a little bit. He's still going to be super tanky. Dragon Guards are still going to apply like defense buff, the fire one, but and have the Undying. But ultimately, they're going to do a little less damage. So they're going to be less of a kill threat in arena defense. So okay, that's a fine change. I mean, they've kind of fallen out of the meta at the top tier right now, anyways. But they were super strong. But they just won't be able to be like a solid DPS for like Ultimate Blitz or anything like that anymore. You'll need to bring more damage with you to be certain you can get the kill. But they're still super strong. Just a little less damage output. And that's okay. Candy Munchkin. So, this is an interesting one. I've been a fan of Candy Munchkin since the game came out, you guys. I'm excited to see what this says. In general, the bonus max HP % damage from the Candy Munchkins was not behaving the way many other skills did because its damage formula ignored several important mechanics. Okay. We felt it was more consistent if the bonus damage was treated more like other forms of skill damage. We still want to have her role as a boss killer, but only while playing by the same rules as other champions. I might have to go back and reread that again. That's interesting to me. But so what they did for all elements is they added text to indicate that the cap on max HP % damage scales with her attack, so the mechanics are unchanged. They added text to indicate that the cap on max HP % damage scales with her attack. So the cap on that, so her skills that do damage based on the enemy max HP are capped, but the damage scales with her attack. Bonus damage based on max HP can now benefit from skill ups. It didn't before. Okay. Bonus damage based on max HP % can now crit. I was under the impression that it critted before and it just had a cap on that crit damage, but it sounds like it wasn't critting. And now it can. It fixed a bug that caused the damage based on enemy max HP to ignore defense. Fixed a bug that caused... I'm reading too fast, guys. I'm getting ahead of myself. Fixed a bug that caused bonus damage based on enemies max HP % to ignore defense and elemental relationships. Okay, so it won't ignore defense anymore, so it'll do less damage, and it won't ignore elemental relationships, which means it could potentially do more or less, depending on where you're bringing your munchkins. But we could have been bringing, like, nature into, like, Steel Wood of 10, apparently. I mean, it still would have died easier, but it still would have done the same damage. Okay, so ultimately it sounds like these two make it sound like we can do more damage, but this one sounds like there's a complete cap. So, who knows what's going to change. Bomb Barrage, Fire, Nature, and Light. Added text to indicate. So that's for Candy Cannon. So that's for skill 1. But Bomb Barrage added text to indicate that the cap on enemy max HP % damage scales with her attack. The mechanics aren't changed. So just added text. It's still going to work the same. Bonus damage based on max can now benefit from skill ups and crit. And then they fix it. So the same thing for Bomb Barrage as for their Candy Cannon basic attack. These are really unclear to me. It sounds like, oh, these are going to allow it to do more damage, you know, these two. But then there's a cap still. So what really changed? I guess we're going to have to test it and find out. Shark, Final Bite. Bonus damage based on enemies missing HP is now capped at 30 times the shark's attack. Okay. I don't know anyone that really uses the shark a whole lot anyways, considering shark. Dark, nature, and water. I mean, no one uses the dark or the nature shark, and then the water is farmable in scenario, but I mean, I don't know anyone that actually uses it outside of 5v5. So, and this would have been in the 5v5 champion fixes if that's what it was for. So, all right, moving on. Valkyrie is the added text explaining that Tailwind's cooldown cannot be reduced by skills. This was already true, but we explained it more clearly. So they added a lot of text to the game, you guys, that wasn't there. They just told us things that were there that they didn't tell us before, which is cool. More information that we have, the better. And fixed a bug that caused tornadoes to sometimes not deal damage in arena. Excellent. That goes back to that invisible wall we talked about earlier. Pirate all aboard skill now passes through walls. So that's for like 5v5. And fixed an issue where Pirate Barrage and Anchor AI freeze bug that causes champions to stand still at the end of the area and now walk outwards indefinitely, only to get pulled back in instead of standing still to attack repetitively. Okay. Dozer fixed Bulldoze and Unstoppable Advance that had a portion of the damage that was ignoring defense, bypassed element relationships, and couldn't crit. Okay. Squire. Also, guys, who's Dozer? Squire fixed a shield bash, had a portion of the damage that was ignoring defense. Okay. Scion fixed a value of level 2 skill bonus on a radiation ray. It will now show 5%. Sure. All right, so a couple like minor fixes down here that maybe were less like considered, but like by the player base. But all right, cool. Good, always good to see fixes and bug fixes and and issues like that being resolved. They're buffing Withering gear set now to a stack 45 times for 45% max HP. So that's a lot better. I still don't know exactly where it's going to be used yet, guys, but that's way better than the 20%. We could actually find use out of that. That'll be interesting. Dazzling set, they talked about this on the stream yesterday, but essentially, guys, what's going to happen is Dazzling before ticked every 1 second, and it only had a cooldown on a champion basis that was on Dazzling. Now it's going to have a cooldown per Dazzling, essentially, regardless of the champion source that the Dazzling sets on are coming from, and it's only going to proc every 1.2 seconds. So the internal cooldown got increased, and it's tracked globally from all sources, not per champion. Meaning, you can't have like 3 Dazzling champions all hitting someone and perma-stunning it anymore, or even something with a fast ticking skill like Violet, we all know, that ticks every 1 second, and then Dazzling procs every 1 second. Dazzling's going to proc every 1.2 seconds. So you're going to have a brief period of time where your champion's not stunned, where they can cast skills or move out of the ground or the damage source that's ticking the Dazzling proc. And then you can't overlap Dazzling sources from like an Archangel and a Violet and something else or whatever to constantly perma-stun anything. So that's cool. That's a big change. When upgrading an unequipped piece of gear in the gear menu, the selected gear now remains selected after leveling the upgrade. This is a small thing, you guys, but it's a big thing, because every time you upgrade and you go out, you have to go find the gear piece again if you want to equip it. And this is going to save a lot of time. I like that. Outfits, they fixed bugs for outfits with crit rate and crit damage bonuses, and the stats are not additive rather than multiplicative. Oh, they are now added rather than multiplicative, effectively giving them 0 bonus before the change. This increases the effectiveness of outfits for Blade Masters, Devil, Pirate, Rascal, Shark, and Snake Lady. Cool. That's a good fix. So for those of you that just dumped outfit tokens into your Blade Masters for more crit, you're going to get it now. Awesome. Fixed a bug where the Archangel's passive healing on its basic attack was, when empowered by his third ability, was not working with the Fallen outfit was equipped. When the Fallen outfit was equipped. Okay, so that's cool. Outfits that only exist in newer versions of the game will appear as the default champion appearance in older versions of the game to prevent crashes and display problems. Okay. And fixed scaling issues with Fox Assassin's outfits displaying in the shop info pop-up. Issues with Fox Assassin's outfits. Scaling issues. All right, they fixed another shop issue. Cool. Guys, that's the patch notes. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. I'm excited. I got to tell you, honestly, the arena is the thing I'm the most excited for. Those arena changes are incredible. Along with these Ink Ninjas, guys. I'm so excited to play with my Tenkoku, my Fire Ink Ninja. I feel like I got him at the perfect time, and I can't wait to use them. Let me know what you guys are excited about in the comments below. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Doses.